Yeah,
All right,
I just keep
hello
it steady on
everybody.
the
Welcome
magic.
back to
Do
the
my thing, I'm
Uprooted
healing, it's
podcast.
fantastic.
Yeah, we're gonna just have
If I
some
fall,
good
rise
conversation
automatic.
about some good
You ain't
topics
on
with some
that, you
good people.
know. I'm the one raise myself like a tree from the roots. West side girl, cause she lit in the coast. East side girl when she speaks to the roots. Stay 100 cause she on with the truth. Been there on struggle, know that it pass. Only going up, yeah, the pain don't last. Ooh, take off. Ooh, take off. Ooh, take off. This is take off, take off, take off. Shorty like Brandy, fight like Monica. What you know about her? Baby girl rising, wet at the top. Shaking the world, don't expect her to stop. Purpose so great, she get what she got. Follow her step, cause she following God. What you need more, got a heart full of gold. Even at times when it's raining and cold. Ooh, she bout to take off.
Yo, what's up? It's your girl Hannah, aka Ruta. Welcome back to the Uprooted podcast, to your weekly installment of Black Women Wednesday. Y'all was definitely engaged with the flyer. Y'all saw who was coming on. Your girl Mebraht will be with us, and she seemed to be a fan favorite, so I'm a little excited. Oh, y'all ready? Y'all ready? I see you, sis. I see you. I'm gonna add you in right now. Okay, I see you, sis. Let me try to just do something real quick. Thanks, Enoch. So, let's see. You said been waiting? Okay, hold on then. Let me find out. Y'all ready? Okay, the girls already coming in here. Hey.
Look, hi, Half Day.
How are you?
I am great. How are you doing?
Listen, I have hair envy, okay?
I know, it's taking up the whole screen.
Listen, I have hair envy because the way my volume is not set up like that.
Look, I'm just free. I just let it be, you know?
Hey,
what can you do?
See, the one thing about me having lazy hair is I just brush the comb through it real quick before I get on camera so I can look like a reasonable human being.
Like our parents say, look like somebody, okay?
Yes, my mom came on my bucket. She said, "So are you gonna get ready?"
Oh, dang.
She's so funny, but girl, you a fan favorite, I think already, because the way that
Not a fan.
was like, Mebraht. You got a fan club, sis.
I appreciate the love.
Yes. They are loving you. I was just like, I was like, I'm already knowing she and Bashi gonna be on here eventually, but the way they were just like, yes, I was like, let me find out. If y'all wanted her, y'all could have told me. I could have made that happen.
Thank you for inviting me on. I appreciate this conversation with you.
Oh, of course, because the way sometimes we'll just be going back and forth. I'm like, are we at church? Because the way we are preaching right now, like, I need them to know. I hope y'all ready to take notes. Okay, I hope, because listen, the way the gems just get dropped and we are not going to go back to explain them, y'all better be ready. So, huh? Oh, just press the volume. My mom's here, y'all.
Hey, Mama.
Yeah, she in the background. She tried to be a background producer today. I gave her one job. So I was like, I need you to do this thing. She goes, it's not working. It's not working.
Need help.
Yeah, I know. They're so funny. Okay, so let me pay attention here. Welcome everybody. The comments, y'all coming in, they ready for you. First and foremost, everybody say hello to Mebraht. Clearly, they in the comments, they already know, but let's talk about who you are. In the bio, we talked about, you were in Denver, you in Atlanta, you did a little bit of moving around, you over here dibble-dabbling in a lot of spaces. So for the people,
Girl.
a lot of spaces. So listen, thank you, because I already know how busy your schedule is. So for you to fit things in, I'm already knowing you got to be selective with your time. So first and foremost, thank you for that. But yeah, let the people know, because they need to know you know, like, you be really putting it in for the community. So I need them to know who is Mebraht, and you know, what is she doing for us right now? Because you're doing a lot, and I need people to give you your flowers.
I appreciate that, sis. Woo, where to start? So, we have something common, Denver, of course. I was born and raised in Denver. A huge Tagato community in Denver, which is fantastic. I talk about my, you know, with my cousins growing up, we never realized that there were so many different ethnic tribes in Ethiopia. You know, we just thought everybody was Tagato.
Literally.
Like everybody's from Tigray, right? And we learned that's not the case. So shout out to my family, to Team Geber Michael and in Colorado. I spent some time in Jacksonville, Florida, Duval County, and now I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia. And the one thing that's kind of been consistent no matter where I've been is just my passion for community development, community organization, civic engagement. That's kind of where my heart is.
Listen, let me tell you, they see it in the bio, okay? She's being humble. She's being very humble. So this is why you have a host of these things. Up to y'all, you will literally just like not tell people, okay, this woman works full-time job, okay, in an industry that is not always friendly to women.
Yeah,
definitely not friendly to Black women. And so she's already all day with these people that like do not understand that she's brilliant, and so they're probably like giving you a hard time, which is annoying. And then you come, and instead of just going to sleep and or you know just enjoying your day like you should be able to, you come and you decide, okay, I'm gonna help found TPN. You know what? Just throw that on my plate. Let me go help our community. You know, we need this thing to go to professional network. And you know, I'm not busy enough, so let me go ahead.
I'm crazy. Crazy. Like, what's wrong with me? God.
Bro, I ask myself these things daily. So this is I'm not reading you. I'm reading me too.
Oh.
So you go, you do that, and you're like, no. Okay, we're gonna expand this. We're gonna open more chapters. So let me advise these chapters, and then boom, in the middle of it, let's just drop a war. So now let me still maintain everything I'm doing, but also let me become an advocate.
The story of our lives. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is you. So let's, you know, because you said it all nicely and, you know, everything, but I need people to understand what that actually means. That means she wakes up and she's serving people, and she's still serving people until she goes to sleep. Like, until there is time, I'm sure, hopefully, I'm gonna get to that. Maybe that could be our first question too, is, you know, how are you managing that? What are you doing to balance all that? And like, does self-care happen in there somewhere?
Balance is the key word. That is something I am striving for every single day, because as you outlined, I'm involved in so many different things. I feel like I have 3 full-time jobs, and I'm really trying to figure out how to just keep it all going. And I've learned just over the years that I have a lot of capacity to do so many different things.
Mm-hmm.
I think a good thing or a bad thing, probably because I've stretched myself so much. And so it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take this on, I'm gonna take this on too. Oh, I'm gonna take that one on too, and that too. I was like, that's too much. You gotta have balance. It's okay to say no. And I know that is a big thing, because in our community, we don't say no. Anytime somebody asks us to do something, we're like, yeah, sure, no problem. Okay, we can do that. We could do that. And I've had to learn, like, you know, I can't do that. I'm always, I try to be very intentional about what I get involved in, what I commit to. And if I'm committing to something, that means I'm giving you 110% every time. Amen. So I realize, like, hey, if I know I can't give you 110%, I just can't do it. And just give me some grace and stop trying to make me feel bad because I said no.
Listen.
No, because that's what we do. We try to like bully each other into doing stuff. I'm like, no. Let's take care of ourselves. Let's recognize what we are capable of doing, where we can best contribute our skills, resources. And, you know, let's try to have some balance, because I'm trying to live my life too now, you know?
Yeah, like, listen, okay, the way I had to easily correct these all these people I helped raise, I said, no, 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 no. I'm still a whole person with a whole life. Got things to do that you're not privy to. I got friends that you don't need to know about. Like, I got things that I want to go do.
It's like, I'm trying to live my best life too. So yeah.
They be swearing. They're like, so what? You know how they like to plan everything with you. So when are we? Who's we?
That's for real. Like,
I'm confused. Who's we? And when did we decide to do that? Because I don't remember that conversation. So I just cannot. Okay. So y'all in the comments, I know you ain't. I don't know if you've been reading, sis. They are here for you. Okay, because they over here playing with you. Caleb over here talking about. I heard she could beat Usain Bolt in a race. Why are you like this? He said she's smarter than a 5th grader. Caleb, go somewhere. Did nobody ask for you? They're so funny. Yeah, you know, the siblings are in here. In case people don't know, Mebraht also has a very big family.
Yeah, shout out.
How many siblings is it?
Well, it's 12 of us. So 12 people make up Team Gabor Michael, the squad. 6 boys, 6 girls. Half of us born and raised back home. Half of us born and raised in Colorado.
Listen,
I know. And as I get older, I'm like, how in the hell did my mom and dad do it? Like, I think you have so much respect for your parents. Like, I hope you do, because I'm like, I don't even know.
No, I surely don't. I mean, my mom had 2, and we were exhausting. Like we were exhausting. So I'm just looking. I didn't realize, like, you know, I think at one time I was talking to Sen Nine. He goes, you know, my sister. I said, which one? Like, I don't know. What are you talking about?
Right.
What are you talking about? And I was like, he's like, you don't know all of them? I was like, no. I was like, how many people are there? So he started telling me. I was like, oh, no. Listen, the way that my parents asked us if we wanted another sibling, and we both, without thinking, looked at them and said no. That was the one thing me and my brother like probably agreed on in life was we're good.
We didn't say in that, you know, our parents just did what they did. But yeah.
Listen, I don't know why my mom thought she should ask me, but
I know, right? Sanai's actually my Irish twin. Like, he and I are only like 10 months apart.
Wow. That's so crazy. I was just like, that's what I'm saying. So when you watched, okay, you know, I'll be going on tangents. So when you watch, what's that movie? It was like Cheaper by the Dozen. Did y'all think of like we should do a half shot version?
So many times. You know, all the things that we thought about just growing up in the household, like, we need to just have our own basketball team. We need to have our own football team. Let's create our own reality TV show. Maybe we should have a singing group. Like, you know, we just do all kinds of things. But the one thing that's been consistent is, like, we're real tight. You know, me, things, you know, my parents, we're all really close. And I think I appreciate that more and more as I get older, just appreciating that relationship with your siblings, with your parents, being able to talk, because I realize a lot of families can't do that.
No, they can't. I think it's probably what, I don't know, let me not, you know, say answers for you, but I feel like I didn't have a lot of siblings, right? I had a lot of cousins, so it felt the same because we were still growing up in one house in a sense. And so I think for me, that's where the love of community comes, right? Because it's just like naturally, like, y'all don't want this, y'all don't like the rest of y'all don't want this, y'all don't want your kids to grow up together, you don't want, you know, them to have built-in friends and you know stuff like that. But I realized no, people don't have that. It's not normal. Some people actually only have 2 or 3 cousins. I said, how, Sway? Because like the way our families are set up, like, I wish. That's like, no. Like, I think my mom,
we claim everybody a cousin, so we may not really be cousins, but we're cousins.
No, it's bad. Yeah, but even then it's like,
see them, and we all grew up together as well, you know, in addition to all the siblings. So that was fun.
Our grandma's generation, it was like normal for them to have like 5, 6, 7, 8 kids. Like, they would just keep having kids. I was like, listen, the way I need y'all to get away from my womb, I'm not playing with y'all. Like, they're crazy.
That's
I was like, no. My aunt told me, she was like, my great aunt at that, right? She was like, you know, I had 8. I think 8 is a good number for you. I was like, no. No. Who said that? I said, who told you that? Who told you that?
No, thank you. Yes. No,
They're
thank you.
crazy. So that's like, okay, so that's our culture. It's insane, but it also is like why we're all like used to being around each other.
Yeah.
And like that part of it comes really naturally. And then I've even noticed like throughout this time how easy it is to like, you know, we all connect really easily, but we also have like 2 degrees of separation. So like I feel like community really is family, because like you're not that far separated from the person next to you. And I feel like that was the thing that for me, I understood TPN as a concept before I really understood like what you guys were trying to do with it, right? So for the people who don't know, could you explain to them just a little bit more about like how, you know, kind of this really ties into TPN and what the goals are for that?
Absolutely. So TPN is the Tegaru Professionals Network, at Tegaru PN, at Tegaru PN, at Tegaru PN. Please follow. The idea of the Tegaru Professionals Network really started like in 2016, 2017. And then we formalized it probably in 2018 as a network for Tegaru, like an opportunity for us as Tigrayans in the diaspora to connect, to network, to build, to provide like access to tools and resources that, you know, we didn't grow up to. So that's where it came to, like, man, can you imagine if we had help on scholarship applications and college applications if we chose to do that? Can you imagine if we had somebody who could help us get into like our dream job or career? What does that look like? Can you imagine if somebody helped us get over my drug addiction or, you know, any type of addiction that I have? So many things that doing to support each other. And we said, let's formalize this. We actually started off as the Y10 Young Tegaru Intellectuals Network. And we said,
glad y'all changed that name.
a mouthful. Let's go with TPN, Tegaru Professionals Network. We specifically said Tegaru because we want to, all the work that we do is for Tegaru in North America. A lot of times when our families come here in the United States, when our relatives, whomever comes here, you know, their bodies are physically in the United States, but their minds are always back home, which is okay. We want to help back home, but what about all of us here in North America? You know, what type of do we have? What type of support and resources do we have? So that is how the TPN was formed in about 2019. I am one of the founders along with several people in the chat.
Oh like, yeah, they in here. You can tell y'all work closely because the way they keep all the
my brother Sanai Gabriel, Hayalum Tadese, Aksum Teklu, and Tsegreda Fisaha. I think that's everybody. Hopefully I did not lose anybody, but we kind of came together and worked under the direction of Mr. Mulugeta Gabru, who's the chairman of the Tigray Communities Forum. So TPN is actually under the umbrella of the Tigray Communities Forum, which is also an opportunity for like the elders in the Tigray community to stay connected. So we have something for the elders all the time. If you have a Tigray community in your respective city, you probably have a board that's running everything, and it may be hard for them to pass the baton. You know,
that was such a great way of saying that.
We gonna keep it real. So we love our elders, but we need an opportunity for young people to contribute, you know, to be heard, to come up with ideas. So that was like the bridge. We have not only the elders in the Tigray Communities Forum, but now we have the young professionals per se, young professionals in the TPN. We hosted our first conference in 2019 in Denver, Colorado. Denver. Yeah. It was the Tigray Communities Forum, basically Tigray Forum. And it was kind of an eye-opening experience for everyone who attended, because it was the realization that, man, we could really do this. Like, we can really create a space for us to connect. We can do programming for our youth. We can do programming for our elders. We can fly into one city from various cities throughout North America. We could just be with each other and have a good time. And that's what we did over Memorial Weekend in 2019. We were planning to have the the forum in 2020. And then that thing called COVID just interrupted everything.
Yeah. She took 2 birthdays for me, so I'm still salty. Okay, I like listen. The way I like 20, I'm still 27. Don't ask me. Like when they ask me later about when, no, I still got 2 years on pause, so I need you to come back.
I'm gonna be like making up for 2020 and like the years prior because because it's been rough.
Absolutely.
So we canceled the conference in 2020. We're trying to do some semblance of a conference in 2021, but we're still navigating coronavirus, right? So we want to be safe, of course, for everybody from the young people all the way to the elders in the community. We're trying to figure out if we're going to do a hybrid in-person thing, virtual thing. I don't know. More to come. But, and of course, we have this whole crisis back home, which has just interrupted all of our lives. We've still been doing the work in our respective communities and chapters through TPN, but it's adding this additional element of just, let's check in, let's see how we're doing with health. Who wants to help organize a protest? Let's do some call banking. So it's changed in a way to meet the current needs, which I think is great. I mean, so that's what this whole year has pretty much been. And going into the summer, my biggest concern is the young people, like folks who have been working, I don't know, virtual learning. I mean, how are they doing? How are our kids really doing? Like with virtual learning, not being in the classroom, they don't have that social component working, with their classmates. So those are things we think about. And those are kind of issues or problems that we try to provide solutions for. Like, what can we do to build up our community and help us here every single day? So that's TPN.
Listen, I already told them take notes. Like I'm not here to like do all the teaching today. Like I said, but like for those of you who were paying attention, a seed was planted, an idea was formed, people were gathered. I think they said you might have missed Sega, Dr. Sega, we love you, sis, is in here.
Yes, Dr. Sega Garu Jesus, Sanai Garu Mikhail, Taklu, Hayalum Tadese, and myself.
Yes, so it's all
as the founder. Now I want to shout out, Mahalet, Gobrakidan, Dawit Tazela, Marhawit. That's like the whole national team of TPN right now. So it's about 8 of us that operate on the national level. And we have now 3 official chapters of TPN that have launched. We have Atlanta, Georgia, Dallas, Texas, and we just recently launched the DMV.
Listen, y'all busy, okay? Because they don't understand what it means to run a chapter, right? Like, so, yes, we can highlight this. Let's throw this in here. Let me also go ahead and just say, I don't know if this is really a question. He said, be strong, big love to my people, nation of Tigray. That's sweet. Thank you. Thank you.
Our brother from Dan. Thank you, Wade.
I appreciate that. Appreciate you.
We'll take all the love, okay? It's a lot going on.
All of it. I appreciate you. So essentially, I don't know if people caught it in your bio, but I seen a little DST. Okay, I seen a little Delta Sigma Theta. I was like, yes, okay, because I did multicultural, but I'm still like the Deltas are always near and dear to my heart. I always tell people in a different lifetime, probably, right? Like, and still, right? Like throughout my life, Delta women have gathered me, uplifted me, like all of the things. And so when I seen that on your bio, I said, makes sense. Like it just clicked.
A woman, yes.
It was very, very clear to me. I was like, makes sense. So when you're talking about running an organization, so rewind for those of y'all who don't understand, we already said she's a busy woman. Why? Because she's doing this. So when you're starting an organization, you had an idea, you got the group together, you start putting things to paper, right? Like, and answering bigger questions of like, how does this actually manifest though in real life? And so people get stuck on the manifesting part, the dream part of it. And then they're like, yeah, okay, cool. Okay, where do I start? What do I do? And when you have gone through Greek, right? You learn that. You learn how to run an organization. You learn how to run your chapter. And then you start to see like how a larger organization, an umbrella organization. And so you start to naturally start to see those things. If you pay attention, actually, let me disclaimer, right? Because if you get
joining a committee, if you're serving in a leadership role, that is absolutely where you learn how to work with other people and just build your leadership skills.
Exactly. And you stay, listen, sororities, for all the women in here, sororities will give you a crash course for life, because whether like your chapter is as successful as you want it to be, you gonna learn what you don't want to do, what you do want to do, how to deal with multiple persons. Like, you gonna learn it all. It is a crash course for life. I promise you, there's a reason why she is not like losing her entire mind right now trying to put these things together. Because when you say you launch 3 chapters, when you a chapter a different city, you got to think like that city also needs a board, that city also needs to do their own programming, that city also needs to network and build connections and grassroots, like organize and gather our people, right? So it's like, that's the fun part too, is like, how do you introduce yourself to the community, how do you get the community involved? All of those things take work, take time, take effort. And then in an advisory role too, is like, not only are you thinking about like nationally how you build the program out, right? But you're thinking about like, what support does this chapter need specifically? I'm guessing Dallas operates very differently than DC, right? So it's even those things. So what we're telling you is it's possible, right? They started a few years ago with just a little seed, and now we're seeing 3 chapters. I'm gonna just speak it into existence. In the next 6 months, we might get 3-4 more, you feel me, that are like, that are ready to go, that they need some help, and they need, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We want y'all to really get involved, because that's, like, I'm telling you, TPN made so much sense to me, because I was like, okay, cool. It's also functional enough, at least for me, that you can kind of go in and out, right? Like, it's not an overwhelming burden, because I feel like sometimes our ABT, like, God bless them, I don't know where they get all the energy from, but like, they exhaust themselves, like, feeling like they have to do everything, be at everything, be a part of everything. And it's like, you don't have to do all of it. Like, you know,
right? So if you are interested, join TPN, get involved. It doesn't even matter how much, like you said, to your point of how much you can be involved, how much you don't want to be involved. Join so you can be part of the network and contribute, because everyone has something they can contribute, right? And I think our elders are always burning themselves out, because we need more people to serve. It can't be on the same people all the time, because it is exhausting. So if we can spread the labor, I think there is strength in numbers, and we can find what works for you. What works for you, Hannah, may be different for what works for me. That's okay. But we work together and turn this thing out, right? And that's what we're trying to do. For me personally, because I'm passionate about just, I don't know, I want to see our people thrive, in every way. I'm very, so I know what I can commit to. And I encourage everybody to understand, like, find that as well. Like, what is your passion? What is your desire? And focus on the 3 things that you can control, right? I can control my attitude, which means like my mindset, how I approach my day every day. That's all part of my attitude. I can control that. I can control my behavior, which comes to like my character, who I am, how I treat people, how I interact with people. And I can control my output, the work that I am doing, right?
Yeah.
If we all can just align with those things, our output, we can take over the world.
It's as simple and as easy as that.
So it's like, I really want it to be simple. That, I think it really is simple. Like, if we analyze who we are and what we desire to do, let's just make it happen. We don't need to make excuses for ourselves. We don't need to be involved in circles that are not thinking along the same lines of growth and peace and prosperity. Do what you need to do to thrive, and then that manifests to every.
Let's say the terms. Let me throw some terms out for y'all to Google. So let me help you. So what she said is, the only person I can control is me, right? Like, I can't control everything else around me, but I can control how I react to it. And then just thinking about getting over these self-imposed obstacles, right? Whatever it is that you think is blocking you, there's that part. And then the other part of not surrounding yourself right?
Yeah.
By the wrong people. So that is a concept. Y'all, please go Google this, law of attraction. Okay. I want y'all to please Google this. It's going to help you a lot. So there's that. And I always tell people too, to add on is, show me who your role models are and I'll show you where you're going to end up. Right. Because like I look at people all the time and I'm like, you know, the haters, you know, the people who like to go watch the people they don't like and who want to spend time doing that, you're still feeding yourself that information and that negativity and all of that. So it's still like, even though you don't like them, they're still influencing you. So like, you got to be careful of like what you're allowing into your space and like into, you know, occupy your mind.
Not just like what you actually intake food wise, but it's everything else, like mentally, spiritually, emotionally. So you have to be mindful of that so you can protect your space. I'm trying at everything I do. So I'm not going to be around things or people who are not contributing to my greatness. Period.
Listen, the way I be, I'm like Teflon. I'm like, ooh, ooh, like I'm like, and that comes with age and wisdom. Because before I used to have energy for these fights, but I really appreciate this pick your battles concept because, like, listen, this is how you know you've really done your work. Okay, you don't even walk in that direction. Okay, because I'll look and I'm like, that sounds like some shit I don't want to get into.
Yep, not for me. Keep it moving. Keep it moving.
Please. I'm like, to the point, I'm like that ordinary grandma right now. Like, I'll be listening to something, and if it even sounds like it's conflict or irritation, I'm like, you gotta go that way. Like, you gotta go that way. I don't want whatever you're trying to give me. It gots to go. So like, you do start to, you know, take care of yourself and like set those boundaries so you do actually have time to do the things you enjoy. Because like, what I noticed is when I wasn't having my boundaries, when I wasn't protecting my energy, by the time I got to do the things I actually wanted to do, I was so irritated I didn't enjoy them anymore. Yeah. Like, you know, or you're so burnt out, it's like, shit. Like, you're not even focusing. It goes right over your head. So it's like, for me, that's why I keep telling everyone, please, please, please do your self-care. Put some boundaries up. Take care of you, because the way you're going to make yourself sick, the way you're going to be miserable, the way you're not going to enjoy life, like, then what is the point, right? Like, then what is the point of being here?
That's a key word too, boundaries. We need them. We need them, especially now during this time when we're trying to fight for peace back home and the emotions are high and we realize folks, you know, there's no outlet, right? So there's no outlet. So we try to give people some grace because they're finding different ways. The pain and the frustration and the anger, I understand. But if we look at the big picture, right? If we think about what we can contribute, because it goes back to who can we control? Ourselves.
That's it.
That is control. So let's take care of ourselves so we can do the work that is required to help our people back home, help our people here. Like, that's it. I'm like, we don't have to make things complicated. Okay, I am on this earth for a purpose. I am here to bring light wherever I go, and I'm going to seek out wherever I go. And that's that.
That's it. I really, so what I want to ask you for you. Because I know for me, growing up, I think like, I just latched onto that idea. You know, Oprah's a big influence of mine, but also our parents, right? This idea that like education, right? So I didn't realize I was doing a lot of studying and like really just like trying to figure out, how do you do life, right? Like, I studied this for a long time. There's a reason why I went into psych. I said, maybe there's some secret recipe or a secret path that's supposed to make life easier. When I tell you, I saw the first class I signed up for my freshman year of college, it said how to live a meaningful life. What the hell at 18 years old was I thinking? Listen.
Like that? Wow.
It was like a GE, I don't even understand, but yes, they offered it. I took it. It was this beautiful older Black man. I swear he was my grandpa in spirit, because like, it was just great. But honestly, at the end of it all, like, the key thing he said, right? And then I followed interviews, I followed people, like, who's successful? What are you supposed to be doing? they all end up saying these same things that we're saying. So we're literally trying to give you, you know, let me say 10 years of your life looking for the answer. Like, if you can hold on to this, like Mebraht, like she just told you, it's very simple. Like, you have to decide. Like, once you make that decision, then you, like, you're gonna start to see that shift in yourself. Like, okay, no. Like, so for you, what was your journey to get there, right? Because I was literally looking for these answers, and I definitely was not this good at it. Like, I was not. I was trying. I was fighting. I was doing a lot of shit until I got to this like sane, like, let me be a peaceful person. So, what was that for you? What was the pivot for you?
I think I've been through that journey too, where I'm, you know, fighting others and fighting myself, fighting family, you know. But what I realized just throughout the years is I always knew who I was at my core. And I always had people around me to kind of affirm that, mainly my family, right?
Yeah.
We grew up just so tight. Yeah, you know, we have our issues. Every family has their issues they work through, but the love and appreciation for each other was there. When I graduated from college, I moved out to a city by myself. I knew nobody there, but I was okay with it because I knew what I came from. So I was like, hey, I'm about to go to Jacksonville, Florida, and I don't know anybody here. You know, I'm here for school. I'm gonna meet people, and I'm gonna be okay. So that's the attitude, right? That's that mindset. Like, it's gonna be okay. Yeah. There were, you know, some, I guess you could say, like, hiccups along the way, because that's just part of learning, but it goes to who you are. You know, what do you want for your life? Like, I want to thrive. I want to be prosperous. I know I'm blessed, and I want to live my best life. So if I'm determined to do that, you will start seeing the people who will kind of shake out of your life, the things that will shake out of your life if they're not in line with that plan. And I think that's important for us to recognize that, right? So going through the hiccups, identifying, you know, losing friendships, losing jobs, you know, all kinds of things. And you can feel in that moment how hard it is, but pick yourself back up. I'm like, oh, you know, in the grand scheme of things, like, I'm alive. I got a place to live.
Amen.
Where, you know, I mean, I've got people who love me. So I try to put it in perspective, like, what's the big picture here? I'm not going to sit here and worry, because that doesn't do anything. So I'm going to do what I know to do, and that's keep moving.
Listen, they got it. I already told them I'm not doing no more breakdowns, so they got it. I hope you heard her. I'll be trying to lay it out for them, but you know, okay, we got some fire emojis. I love the support.
Oh, it's a journey. I think, and I just urge everybody to, you know, take that time. Sometimes it's hard to look in the mirror and identify those things you may not like. So it's like, what can you do to, I don't know, just really analyze yourself and think about, I want to be the person that I always think I should be, or that I feel I should be. So take those steps needed to get to that point, because you're wasting time and you're missing on living life. So you've got to have kind of that radical change so that you could just live your best life. Your point, if you don't know how to do that, you know, if it's not just in your core, you feel like it's not within you, it can be, you know, tap into the people that you said, like, you can find Oprah online classes. There's like Lisa Nichols, you know, these are people who, this is what they do for a living. They coach you up, tell you how to live your best life. Like, tap in. We have everything available to us at our fingertips these days. Everything.
When I tell you, I'm just trying to be the hobby shop version, because I feel like that's it. Like, that's it. That's all I want to do.
Podcast, hosting.
That's it.
Women, like, you're doing it.
That's it. That's all I want for our hobby shop people, is because I feel like sometimes even just seeing someone, right, that like the whole representation, even that can like help change somebody's mind, right? Because it's like, I'm taking that excuse away from you. Like, by us succeeding, we're literally taking excuses away from people. And then all that's left, the part that I want us to go back to, is looking yourself in the mirror, because that is a hard part of that process. It is a hard part of the process to like not just because y'all be taking selfies and you be doing your angles and this and that, but I'm talking about really
Girl,
look yourself.
I'm like, how they do that?
Listen, we're not here for it. We know somebody gonna teach us, okay? Somebody's gonna teach.
Really good at that. I'm like, teach me how you do that.
How, Sway? Okay, listen, we just gotta find 2 or 3 and stick to those, because the way we are not gonna do this all day. Like, listen, I be struggling. People be like, you like it? And I move on. Be like, no. I like, efficiency is my key word in life. I'm like, okay, you got it? Okay, cool. I'm not trying to do this all day. But literally, it's hard though, right? It's hard. So some of those people you're talking about, like, my favorite line to tell people too is like, you literally have a smartphone in your hand. So like, you can figure out the answer to almost anything. Almost, right? So there's that part of it. And it's like, okay, so there's still something, right? Like, that's for me, what I've been understanding lately is like, okay, there's still something. And the reason why I spent so much time on mental like health and like figuring out these affirmations and giving it to people is because that's all it was, is a mental block. So for you, knowing, like, you know, kind of just having this, what word came for me was like this idea of self-worth, right? As a child, that got reaffirmed for you. Yeah. So like, it's good when you have that, right? Like, you have that support system. And what I had to realize, understanding that, you know, even though our community can give headaches and shit, a lot of people don't even have that. So like, when the world, if you're living in this world as a Black woman, and the world is telling you a shit, you know, and it's just horrible, like, you know, society pressures, then you're just stuck. And then if you don't have that support system around you, what happens to your self-worth, yourself, you know, your self-esteem, and all of those things? You're not even doing point, you know. It's hard. It's hard. And so, you know, we might be telling you, you could do this, but it's like, let me also acknowledge that some of y'all don't have that. So this is important for y'all to see. There are people who can succeed, you know, having that background. But if we could just tell you, that's actually the first step, is get to your self-worth and figure out who you are and how you want to show up in the world. That's literally your first step. Like, spend some time on that, figure out where you want to be, like what you want to accomplish, all of those things, and then you'll start moving towards that direction. But if you don't have that, right, then you're just kind of floating around. Like, you're trying to figure things out, but you're not actually doing anything. Exactly. It's a lot of busyness. There's a lot of, I've started to understand I don't need to be busy. like, right? Like, just being busy just for the sake of being busy is so useless, right? Like, you're not actually doing it, like, right? Like, it's like, that's stressful. Like, why? It just for no, like it's anxiety. Just feel like when people are just busy being for busy, this is how I feel. I feel like this all the time. I'm like, what's wrong with y'all? Like, my mom's favorite thing to tell me, she's like, why are you so tired? Why are you so good? She'll be like, what did you even do? I'm like, I don't know, Mom. I feel like I had hella shit to do, but why do I have to get up and do something anyways? Why is that a requirement? Like, I don't understand. I know. You're speaking truth right there. Listen, okay, I think your sis came in with the question. She said, what would you recommend to someone that is in the middle of their self-worth journey? Ooh, that's a great. If you're in the middle of the self-worth journey, stick with it. See it all the way through. Create those boundaries. Understand what balance you need in your life, and surround yourself with people who can pour into that. I think that's really important. You've got to be, I think we all have to be comfortable with being by times. Like, what happens if you're just like the only person somewhere? Are you uncomfortable with yourself because you're by yourself? Why is that? Spend some time, like, analyzing that. You got to be comfortable with who you are. Yeah. In every way. So acknowledge that, continue the self-worth, continue setting boundaries, continue having some balance, and be around love. If you are around love, if you emit love, I just feel like you're doing that. You're doing what you journey to live your best life. No, that's good. That's good. I like that. I was thinking, because I do have that. I have, my best friend is very along the journey with me, as a support. And for my birthday, I really appreciate like intentionality, right? Like I live with intentionality, and so my friends understand that about me, and so they also like, I don't, you know, the I'm not really into a lot of things, but she was like, got me stones for my meditations because she knows I meditate. So like, even, and like, she was very specific about what the stones are supposed to help with, right? Because symptoms of my illness is like anxiety and depression. So
Okay.
like this stone is specifically meant for that, right? So like when we say have good people in your life that are going to support your journey, that's the type of person we're talking about, who knows you're on the journey, is paying attention and is checking in and is thoughtful enough that like they think of something that might help you and they actually like do it for you, right? So
Yes, that is a great friend. And that's somebody
yeah,
you want in your circle who is helping you in your self-worth journey. Like, that's amazing.
literally love her. Budhan said, I don't know if the journey ever ends. We improve as we work on it, but it's a continuous process. Amen. Amen. Um, it doesn't end, but it gets easier. Like I will tell you guys that. I think I've finally hit that at this point. It does get easier. And so, oh, you know what? Another practical advice. If you guys haven't looked at Marissa Peer, there's a mental health expert named Marissa Peer, and she has this philosophy that most of our problems boil down to this idea that we aren't enough. And like, that feeling of trying to fill that void, and it made a lot of sense to me. I was like, oh yeah, that's the one. That's the one right there, because it ties right into your self-worth, your, you know, your self-esteem, your you know, all of those other things, right? So like this idea that we're not enough and we keep chasing after it. So she does something, and she recommended something. So I actually did it. I've had it on my wall, on my mirror for years, is I wrote the words I am enough on my mirror. So like that's what I see when I'm getting ready in the morning, is like, you can do your affirmations and you see it, and affirmations do work. And I'm gonna tell you, our parents do them too. They do it in Tigrinya, so you're not paying attention. But if you, if you do ever pay attention to your parents speak, right, there's things that they repeat constantly. Like, those are affirmations. We just don't have a word. I don't know if there's a word in Tigrinya for it. I've never heard it, but they do that, right? Like our parents do that. They speak into you. The elders speak into you. Like they pray over you. They manifest. They do affirmations. So it is actually part of our culture. It's just not like, there's not really a language to understand that. It's just, I don't know. We just do it. So
I
I
love
would tell them.
I'm enough. So mine, because I have a daily affirmation as well, and it's I can have it all.
Amen.
I can have peace of mind. I can have zeros in the bank. I can have love. I can have health. I can have family. I can have it all.
Look at you. Listen, that's a good one. That's what I'm telling you. Y'all got to just hold on to them and continue like moving forward. Abel, is the question like in terms of like what are the affirmations that our parents say? I know like for my mom, I'm trying to think. She says a lot of different things to me all the time, but the one thing she always tells me, and that she constantly says is like, I don't, how do you even say it? I can't say it in Tigrinya, but basically it translates into this idea that like, don't treat yourself like you're poor, because then you'll act like you're poor, right? Mm-hmm. So like my mom has a ridiculous amount of confidence, like a ridiculous, like it's actually sometimes embarrassing. I'm like, stop, right? Like she's
so beautiful.
I know,
all the space. I take up all the space. I love it.
She does, trust me. She does. And so she'll say that because like sometimes like her clients will be really, really wealthy, you know? And she like, so she'll be like, no, I'm not, just because I work for them doesn't mean I don't have like my own family, my own house, like, so she's very like, no, don't treat yourself like that, because if you treat yourself like that, you're gonna act like that, you're gonna accept that behavior. Yes. So it's just like, I've just learned over the years, they say a lot of stuff. My dad says no one loves me like I do. I'm crying.
Who's that? Mr. Mustafa? That is the truth, okay? No one loves you. You better go ahead and gas yourself up.
That's what I'm saying. My mom said that too. She said, am I supposed to wait for somebody else to love me? I was like,
it all starts with
Us. I'm telling you.
Right.
I'm telling y'all. And so if you are looking and you're just like, how do these women get all this stuff done? It's like once you get out of your own way mentally, doing the work is just doing the work. Like, you're not fighting all these mental battles of like, oh, but what if I fail? How you gonna know? You didn't even try yet. So you have to start doing that of like, basically it goes down to cognitive behavioral therapy. So like, it's really just reframing. They use big terms in college to make y'all feel like you need to pay for this education. But let me tell y'all, it's literally what your parents are already doing. Cognitive behavioral therapy is really just this idea that if you change the mindset, then the behavior follows. So that's literally all
mindset.
That's it. That's all this is just, for us, that works. Some people need a different form to work for themselves, but most of the time they're all addressing the same issue of like, get over your mental block.
Yes.
So if y'all could do that.
The program that I'm involved in. It's called NALI, okay? The National American Women's Leadership Institute, NAALI. And we just completed our first session of this leadership development program. We have 27 women who are going through the program. I'm currently serving as the chair of the board of directors for NALI. I went through this in 2019. 2020, we canceled it because, again, that Rona, that COVID message. So we've started the virtual session this year in 2021. And do you know, those are the same messages that we have poured into the women going through the program, who vary in all ages, all their experience and background varies, the companies that they represent varies, and that's what we've shared. You are enough. Take up space, especially in your corporate job. You know, please show up as the authentic Black woman that you are, and let's teach you how to navigate these spaces, because we don't know, corporate America is the white male dominated, you know, arena, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And how can we make sure that we are sure of ourselves and we lift as we climb? So we just completed that whole week of training. It's like 3 sessions over the course of 7 months, week-long sessions. So there's a week-long session in March, one in June, and then they graduate in September. I encourage everybody to go through this leadership development program. Please participate in NALI. Follow them. I think it's NALI_org here on IG. But it's really important. If you feel like you can commit to the daily work needed to put you in a better place, well, then pair up with some of these leadership development programs that can pour into you as well. There's so many tools and resources out there.
Oh, yeah.
Just over the years with NALI, now with TP, and you know, there's so many resources. So how to benefit ourselves? Like, let's learn together.
This is what I'm saying. And I think both of us got a lot of, like, we had familial support, right? For that survival. Like, we needed that nurturing. But what I've been trying to preach is like, we're a different generation. We're past survival, right? Like, there's things that our parents are not going to be able to teach us, like, because this isn't the country that they like are part, like, they're here, but they weren't born here. They don't think about it in this way. So it is important to also network outside of the community. And sometimes we got to get those resources out. But if you're, you know, inspired by what me and Mebraht are trying to tell you, especially what Mebraht has actually been able to accomplish, is take that and pour it back into your community too. Yes. Like, when you go and you do that for yourself and you take care of yourself and you elevate yourself, now turn around and pull forward those who are coming behind you. That's how you actually build community. That's how you build generational wealth. That's how you build prosperity for your people. So it's like, these are life skills. So please listen. This is free gems. Okay, like, this is free. Okay, like, this is for the free. So I want people to understand, like, take these things down, apply them. Like, sometimes you're not going to be able to go to that course, you're not going to be able to do these things, but these free tools do exist to you. And some of these places are like actually not that expensive, right? Yeah. Like, there's ways that you can get involved. So like, I think that's dope. And I also feel like, because I looked at the time, that this is going to be great, because it leads into kind of our last question. My question for all the guests is, what is the legacy that you want to leave? Because, you know, we're not going to be here forever. So what is it, you know, that you want people to remember you by?
Ooh, dang.
I know. You know what's crazy? It's like, I swear y'all be watching these shows and y'all know this question gonna come.
I know.
It still be a surprise. I love it though.
Oof.
Yep.
I leave this earth, you know, I hope that I've left a mark in the spaces that I occupy, so much so that it's set them up for the next generation. I think that's what I'm hoping to do. Mebraht means light, right? So I really channel that, like, girl, you got to be the light. It is your responsibility. It is your purpose. So that is the legacy I want to leave in all spaces that I take up.
Oh, I love it. I kind of already guessed, but I love it because I'm like, yes, like, because you're doing it, right? You're doing it. This is the part that I do and I love doing. Lily said that question is much harder in person.
You know, I knew.
You know, listen, sometimes, you know, you guys just got to do it. So
yes,
I love that. It reminds me of my favorite quote by Marianne Williamson, I think is her name. You know, the lady who was running for president for like half a second.
Oh, was that her name, Marianne Anderson?
I think it's like I'm pretty sure it's like Marianne Williamson or something. But I really only remember it because of the movie Coach Carter. So like, that's all I remember. But do you remember that movie? Like Samuel L. Jackson kept asking, like, you know, what is your biggest fear? What is your biggest fear? It's always stuck with me. He comes at like towards the end of the film, he comes back, super dope monologue, and he goes, my biggest fear. And so he recites the quote, and it's like, my biggest fear is that I'm inadequate, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, but when you shine your light,
yes.
right? It's like, but when you lean into it.
My light for the comfort of others, right? I think
it's something along those lines, and essentially like by allowing your light to shine bright, you give permission to those around you to also shine theirs. So
amen.
That's what that reminded me of. And I know for a fact you're doing it. If the fan club in this comment section wasn't affirmation enough, you got a couple people in here that trying to do my part. Okay, this is my part. I do the flowers. I'm just kidding. Y'all could do it too. They said,
love y'all. I'm fine.
Oh. Yeah, they're like, Mebraht is my light. I literally am so intentional, and I'm like, it's not about strategy for this. Like, it's very intentional about like, let me uplift, let me platform, like, not that you need it, like, but let me put the right type of role models out there, right? Like people who are, you know, authentically themselves in every space that I see them in, that show up, that do the work, right? That are positive, that don't make excuses, right? Like we need more of that, that are the change, right? That are actively being the change that we need. And I gotta tell you, like, you're really killing it. Like, you're really killing the game. You're doing it.
Can I tell
you
the same? I mean, you've created this platform. You give a voice to other folks who can come up and just show up as themselves and, you know, just speak from the heart, having a nice conversation. And, oh, there's gems included, you know, so you are well, and I want to acknowledge you for that also.
Oh, thank you, Hafte. Thank you. I'm telling y'all, you know, for a long time, people were like, they kept thinking I was TPN spokesperson. And I'm just like,
I love it.
I'm just like, listen, I might as well be. Listen, everything you're describing is Mebraht 100%. I got a cosign. All I gotta say is I got a cosign. Because it's true. I mean, we kind of started really putting ourselves out at the same time in terms of both platforms. So it was, I really do feel like I'm on a parallel journey. So I could look to my left and I see, okay, she killing it over there. So I gotta keep working. You know, iron sharpens iron.
We can all kill it. We can all kill it.
All.
We can have all the things.
This is what I'm telling y'all. Iron sharpens iron. Like law of attraction. If y'all didn't Google that shit, write it down because you want to elevate quicker. Be around people who challenge you. Be around people who want you to be better and are gonna push you. You know, shit. Move, literally physically move sometimes to get out of certain energies. You got to do it, and this is a prime example. You're doing amazing, TPN. I'm telling you, manifesting. I said we're gonna have 6 months. We're gonna see a couple more chapters just pop up. Boop, boop, boop. You're like, okay, TPN, TPN out here. TPN is out here. So I'm speaking that into existence. I'm also speaking in that you get help managing that so that it's not all on your shoulders.
All of that. No, we have a great team. I would be remiss if I do not shout out the team. We have a great team, and we have more and more leaders coming up behind us. So I'm so excited.
I'm telling y'all, if you have been looking for somebody, like if you go into TPN, just know this is the type of mentorship and leadership you're under. That's it. I feel like that's the sales pitch right there.
That's it, Becca.
That's it. There's no other sales pitch that's gonna help you guys. This is the one. This is the one. Somebody play this back.
The only one. That's it.
That's it. Oh man. Okay. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much, Mebraht. This has been great. You already know we can chop it up. So
right.
This is gonna be great. They said TPN in every major city by the end of the year. Oh, we look at. Listen.
Name it. I love it. Let's do it.
We are gonna run this back. I promise. Matter of fact, I'm about to screenshot that so we can archive it, and we gonna run that back because Lily said it. Gotta Link Up is also gonna be right there with us, and
love
you know
it.
What? We gonna have a party at the end of this, and we gonna look at each other and be like, look what we did. That's what I want.
Yes, let's do it.
That's it right there. So everybody put that mental note. It's gonna be on your calendars. Don't be surprised when you see the flyers, because you know we're gonna come correct with the flyers and with the itinerary, and you gonna see everybody. It's gonna be I'm manifesting. There's gonna be a stage of just dope ass women that have built in all of this like horrible trauma that we're going through, and you know they tried to break us, and we just gonna come back stronger.
Yeah. So.
Oh man, she said yes, not for real. Anything for ticket. Okay, you know what, Lily? Let me get out here because the way that I'll be, she will have us on here all night because Lily be with me with the manifest. We gonna speak that. Sis.
I love it.
Yes, I love it.
Great. It's always good chatting with you.
Yes, thank you. Listen, I'm already knowing. So watch somebody come in the comments talking about, hey, she busy, she gotta go. So. Because you always got meetings and shit to do. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. We will be catching up. As always, the platform you already know is open to you. TPN is only shit. Y'all all got my number. So it's only a phone call, a text message. Let me know however I can continue to support y'all.
Thank you. Light.
Thank you. Good night, y'all.